Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream. We've got a kitty in the camera tonight. This is trying to add to the production value. This is actually the second live stream we've done tonight because I wanted to get it right. The first one was rough. I'm going to keep it very short here tonight. If you have any questions or comments, throw them out, and if I can see them, I will gladly respond to them. There's so much going on right now, folks. We're just killing it. In the past few months, we've been featured in The Guardian, and CNBC, and Yahoo News, and Forbes, even many other places, Business Insider, bunch of stuff. The media has been great. Just in the past week, a lot has been happening. So let me start with the small stuff. Let's see. A person named Toby Merrill is joining the Department of Education as general counsel. Toby is a long-time student loan advocate, so that bodes well. At this point, there are 3 halfway decent people, supposedly, at the Department of Education who should be helping us. People like Rich Cordray is probably the number one. James Cavald, who's going to be hopefully Deputy Undersecretary, and now Toby. But I am very wary, guys. We were screwed by the student loan advocates in years and decades past. In 2007, the student advocates went to great lengths to keep bankruptcy away from student loans, believe it or not. And they used the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program and the Income-Based Repayment Program as a cheap substitute for the bankruptcy protections that the Founding Fathers demanded ahead of the power to declare war, ahead of the power to raise an army. So here we are, 14 years later now. Public Service Loan Forgiveness is a cruel joke. Income-based repayment is absolutely going to be a cruel joke. So we're happy to see some friendly names on the roster of the Department of Education, but we'll see. Right now, they could order their contractors, like ECMC most notably, to stop opposing bankruptcy, student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. That would be a very simple, minimal, easy thing that they could do to establish a modicum of good faith. I would like to see that. Also, with Toby now as general counsel, we should see that memo come back in the affirmative. That is, we should see that memo come back saying, yes, indeed, the president does have the power to cancel student loans by executive order. So for those of you who are new to the group, you should know that we started the petition in March of last year, way before Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer embraced the concept. We started the petition calling for the president to cancel student loans by executive order. And in fact, arguably, we've been calling for it since November, I think, or September of 2019. So we're thrilled. But guys, I am very, very, very worried because, as I said, in years past, the so-called good guys at the Department of Education have used a cheap, feckless, meaningless loan cancellation as a cheap substitute for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. And we need to be very, very much on guard for that same trick. We're not going to get fooled again, guys. We've been doing this for 16 years. Not going to do it. Hey, by the way, if you have any questions or comments, throw them out. If I can see them, I will gladly respond to them. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Department of Education. Don't forget also, back to the bankruptcy point, to have, for any meaningful loan cancellation to actually happen, not this up to $50,000, which could mean anything, and if the Department of Education has its way, will mean nothing. In order for any loan cancellation to actually happen, actually work, be meaningful, I think the return of bankruptcy protections is a necessary precondition for that. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But it's not filing for bankruptcy that we need. It's the power to file for bankruptcy if needed. That is so important for keeping the lending system fair and acting in good faith. We did start the petition, it's true, calling for loan cancellation, and we stand by it at that 1,000,000%. But if I had to choose between up to $50,000 loan cancellation and simply the repeal of that one line of code that makes student loans different from all other loans in bankruptcy court, I would pick the second thing. I would pick bankruptcy in a heartbeat. So That's how important bankruptcy is, guys. On that note, we have an interview request out. I can't say anything more than that, but I will. But I can say, I will say, very important request. If you have filed for bankruptcy in the past and were not able to discharge your student loans, let me know. This is very important. Interestingly, I put out this call earlier in the day. Normally, for a very specific call like this, we might get a few, maybe as much as a dozen responses. But we got over 300 responses today, and they were appropriate responses from people who indeed had filed for bankruptcy in years or decades past, still have the student loans. So, but nonetheless, if that fits your situation, send me a few paragraphs about your plight. At this point, I kind of have to filter through all the responses we've gotten, but if you have a compelling story, it needs to be told. So send it to us. You can email me at justice@studentloanjustice.org. Yep, the sausage is being made right now as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. We ask people to do actions every day. Like, most of it's easy. Most of it's like a 5-second action, like retweet this, retweet that. That's what it usually is. So I would urge all of you, don't sit and wait and watch and worry and think that somebody else is going to pull your weight for you. It just never works that way. These are your loans. This is your problem. And if we sit back and wait and watch and worry and allow ourselves to be lulled into a sense of complacency, nothing good will happen. We've been doing this for 16 years now, folks, and that, if we've learned nothing else, we've learned that. I know we have 1 million people on our petition now. That's great. But if 1 million people all assume that the other 999,999 people are going to do their work for them, then nothing gets done. And that's what's going on, guys. We cannot accept that Washington is going to deliver a solution into our laps. If we allow them to do whatever it is that they do, this problem will never be solved. We will all die under this ridiculous, vicious, predatory, weaponized debt. So don't do that. Like right now, there's 2 very important news stories, research stories that we really need to get reported in the national and local media. I will post them below after this live stream. The first one is the fact that there are more people over the age of 35 than under the age of 35 with student loans, and they owe far more. There are more people over the age of 50 with student loans than under the age of 25, which is just crazy, right? Like, most people, you would think they graduate college at 22 or maybe 24 or 5 if they got their master's. So you would think that most of the people that are going to have student loans are going to be under the age of 25, but no, it turns out the opposite is true. It's a very important news story, guys. We need to break it in the media. Second story, very important. Over 1/3 of U.S. states owe collectively more than their entire state budget in student loan debt. This is a jaw-dropping statistic, and it's key for getting, and most of these states are southern red states, by the way. We really need to get Republican governors from those states to join us. If we can get even 1 or 2 to say, Mr. President, enough. I'm not going to let my fair state of Georgia or Texas or Alabama or North South Carolina or Indiana or Florida or Tennessee. I'm not going to let my state be wrecked by this federal albatross, this nonsensical, viciously predatory federal debt. Mr. President, cancel these loans. If we can get even 1 or 2 Republican governors from the states that I just mentioned to join us in making that call, I think that's it. I think that would be pretty much game over. We would see a groundswell from there, and it would be awesome. Kitty cam. I have like 10 kittens, by the way. I'm going to be adopting them out soon, so, but whatever. Yeah, so we stand at the precipice, but we need your help. Getting your local or national media to report on either one of the stories that I just mentioned is very important. Every day, we ask people to do something very easy on Twitter. So follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/studentloanjust1. And retweet the stuff that we tweet and quote tweet it to important people and stuff like that. All that stuff matters hugely. We've got 1 million people That's a massive muscle to flex. If 1 million people were helping us every day, we could shut down every switchboard. We could shut down every website, including government website in the country. We could overwhelm these people to the point of seizure. So this all starts with you. Don't sit there and wait and watch and worry and expect that somebody else is going to pull your weight for you. That has never worked. Never, not ever. Has that ever worked? Please, we're not going to get this problem solved without you. We've been doing this for 16 years. I want these loans gone. I want them done. In my humble opinion, nobody should ever pay another dime back on their federal student loans. I think that's both unwise and at this point very unpatriotic. Even before this pandemic, 80% of all borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans. They were either in default, forbearance, for deferment, or otherwise delinquent, and that's probably like half, or they were paying and paying and paying, but their loan balances were going up. So 80% of the people were screwed on their student loans even before the pandemic. What do you think that is now? Is it 85 or 90%? Well, who knows? But the default rate for subprime home mortgages was 20%. So we're like 4 times that now. So this lending system is done, guys. It's failed. And there is no saving it. There should be no saving it. This lending system should be taken to the bath and drowned in the tub. And that's a very conservative thing that I just said. So yeah, if you filed for bankruptcy in years past, send me an email, justice@studentloanjustice.org. If it's really compelling, I will forward it along. Man, there's a lot of other stuff going on right now, guys, that I just can't talk about. I just can't. But suffice it to say, we are getting very close. And what you do, what I and you and everybody on this group does or doesn't do, is going to tell the tale, like in the next month and a half. Like we are getting really, really, really incredibly close to victory here, guys. Whether that happens quickly or whether it doesn't happen quickly, whether we're sitting here 5 years from now debt-free, or whether we're sitting here 5 years from now wondering what the fuck happened over the past 5 years. That all depends on how hard you out there work and put effort into our struggle over the next month. I kid you not. We're the tip of the spear on this, guys. We're the tip of the spear. We're the eye of the hurricane. And what you do matters. And conversely, what you don't do matters also. Our opponents would love you to sit there and wait and watch and worry and assume that somebody else is going to pull your weight for you. That's what they love. Don't give them that pleasure. Don't buy into any of the nonsense corporate/propaganda media that's being flooded into the zeitgeist right now. Our opposition is scared shitless. They know this lending system is evaporating to a mist of illegitimacy. They don't know what to do. So they're doubling down on what they've always done. So 95% of the media stories that you come across going forward are going to be made by people who are being pushed by other people who want no changes in the law, who want this lending system to continue as it has before. Don't let yourself be fooled. They would love to lull you into a false sense of complacency. They would love to lure you, de-energize you, demotivate you with happy talk. Don't give them that pleasure. I'm worried. I'm very worried, guys. We were tricked before in the past. I don't want to get tricked again. And if I'm worried, you should be worried, because I'm a pretty honest guy. And if I thought we could kick back and everything would be fine, I wouldn't even be doing this. But no, that's not true. What we do matters right now. So just please bear that in mind. And with that, I think I've probably gone a little bit longer than I was hoping. Maybe the last thing I'll say is if you can donate at this time, it would be very helpful. We survive and thrive on very little. We require almost nothing to survive, thrive, fight, and win this battle. Certainly compared to the millions of dollars that our opposition spends against us every year, I'd say we're doing pretty well. But we can't do it on nothing, guys, cannot. So if you appreciate the work that we're doing, the struggle that we're engaged in, all that we have gotten done, and all that we are poised to get done, please pitch in a couple bucks at this time. It would be exceedingly helpful at this time, I'll just say. StudentLoanJustice.org, donate. Very last thing I'll say is don't forget about the petition, guys. There's great strength in numbers. We have 1 million people now. We should have 30 million people on this petition. If, there's 30 million people in the country who, if they knew about our petition, 4 out of 5 of all student loan borrowers, if they knew about our petition, they would be strongly inclined to sign our petition. Word of mouth is the best thing we have to grow, guys. It's the best thing. In many ways, the only thing. Although media does definitely help. So get on it, guys. I will say no more. But good luck. God bless. Godspeed. I'll be back on Friday. Ed will be back on Thursday. Check back frequently. Things are happening right now. Right now. This is the time for everyone to fight, not sit back and wait and watch and worry. We can do this. We're headed in the right direction. But what we do, what you do, really matters over the next couple of weeks and months. So, peace.